Okay. I made that really hot. Hi, I am Christine. Welcome to my channel. I wanted to sit down and have a chat with you all today about what it is really like to add a second child to your family. I'm going to give you the very honest, raw version of what it was like in my experience to add a second baby to our family. I actually have 3 kids now, so this is going back a little bit for me, but I thought I would share it with you in case you're in that situation where you're wondering, what the heck is it going to be like, or even should you add a second child to your family, because it's scary adding more to your plate. So anyway, keep watching if you think it'll interest you. Let's get into it. I've written down a few points because 3 kids gives you like a sieve for a brain. So for me personally, we had our 2 children 18 months apart. And my second pregnancy wasn't easy. None of my pregnancies have been easy per se, but my second pregnancy, I had a lot of pain. I injured my tailbone, so it was my own fault. I was like painting when I was, 20 weeks pregnant or something or other. I painted like most of our house during my pregnancy. I get like extreme nesting instincts, so yeah, that happened. But it was kind of rough. And when I actually had my daughter, it was a bit of a relief because the pregnancy had been so challenging. It felt good to be able to just move around like a normal human being again. But I want to just share with you some things that I think you need to hear as an expecting mother, or even someone who has 2 babies currently and you're just in that adjustment phase. I think you need to hear these because they're really important and there's a lot of truth to it. So the first thing I wanted to say is that it'll take time to adjust. Don't expect everything to fit into a nice little symmetrical routine. I don't think that's a thing, but easy routine. It's not going to happen for a while. For some families, it'll happen faster than others. Some babies are super easy in the sense that they don't have colic or reflux and they sleep really well, and so you tend to sort of get into your routine a little bit better. And then other babies are quite challenging, and so it can be hard, and your toddler might not adjust, or your older child, I'm just assuming you have a toddler, you may have an older child, it can take them time to adjust as well. So give everybody grace, because that adjustment period, there's no sort of like time limit on it. It takes time, and you should expect that it's going to take time so that you don't set yourself up for like unrealistic expectations. The second thing that you need to know is that you are capable. This is something that I really wondered about when I was pregnant with my second. I was like, how the heck am I going to look after 2? Like, 1 is hard and I am at capacity. I don't know how I'm going to add a second child onto the plate and look after everyone and make sure they're happy and fed and loved and all the rest of it. That is a normal feeling for a mother to have, but just know that you are capable and that you will be able to do it. And it's kind of like you're just left with no choice, and so you just knuckle down and you do it. You take care of your babies. And the other day my husband took my 2 older children and just left me with our youngest, who's 15 months. And I was sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, this is so easy. Like, it's so nice just to have her, and, we could just potter around the house, and it was just really easy. And then I remembered how hard I thought it was when I had just the 1. And it's because your threshold for difficulty just changes the more children you have, and you learn how to multitask and how to better care for everyone's needs. It's just natural. It's not to say that the mother with 1 child doesn't have difficult times, because she does. It is hard when you have 1 child and that is all you know. A mother with 3 children is also hard. I have friends with 7 children, and I think, oh my gosh, I could never do that, but they're used to doing it. And so it's just what you're used to. It will be hard, but you are capable. Trust me. Number 3 is, this is something I've seen asked in a few mums groups about, like, which was the hardest transition? Was it harder to go from 1 to 2 or 2 to 3 or 0 to 1, And the reality is it might be harder, but it also might be easier. And I'll say that for me, in my personal experience, it was harder going from 0 to 1 than it was for any other transition, because even though I wanted a baby so badly, and I have always had sort of like a strong maternal instinct, it was still really hard to adjust to everything, My body went through a lot, my mind went through a lot, and then I'm like looking after another whole human being that I'm now responsible for. It was tough, but it got easier for me with every transition. I did experience some postpartum depression after having my second, and so I think her transition, it would have been even easier had I not experienced that. Because I would say that baby number 3 was like my easiest transition, and we just sort of carried on. But just try not to compare your experience with other people's experiences too much, because we're all so unique. Our babies are so unique and individual, and ourselves, we are unique. So don't take on other people's experiences, especially not their negative experiences. It's kind of like labor stories. You don't listen to the traumatic ones, because it's not going to help you. It's helpful to go in with a flexible mindset and just say, okay, whatever comes my way, I'm going to try and just roll with the punches. That's the kind of mindset you need to have. The 4th thing I want to talk about is sleep. And here's what I'm going to tell you. You will sleep again. I promise. I know it won't feel like that. There will be nights when the toddler is up multiple times and the baby's up multiple times, and you're like, oh my gosh, do mothers even need sleep? You do. And those times won't last forever. They will come back at times as well. I've had times where my kids have all gotten sick, and I've been, jumping up like a jack in the box all night long and looking after them, but they're not forever. And for us personally, we always try to get our babies into good routines, healthy routines when they're quite young, and that made a big difference. And just having firm boundaries for our toddler really helped as well. This stage of sleep deprivation will not last forever. I promise you will sleep again. Number 5 is that your eldest child will not be neglected. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, how on earth am I going to give them the love and attention that they deserve when my time is now going to be split with them, with a newborn now? I'm going to have to look after a newborn. And the reality is, giving your child a sibling is one of the best things you could possibly give them, because one, they're not the center of the universe. And as much as we try not to let that happen when we have just one child, it kind of does, because you have so much more time to give just to them. And while it's never a bad thing to give your child time, it's also good for them to learn to be able to play on their own and understand that their wants can't always be met immediately. And so just realize that your firstborn is not going to suffer. Yes, there will be an adjustment period. Yes, you will have to be more intentional about spending time with them and making sure their needs are met, but it's not going to be detrimental to them either. I think mums hold a lot of guilt in this area, and I've seen a lot of posts about this, and you just need to know that you're doing a good job, and your child's not going to be resentful, and it's going to teach them more good things than it is negative things, I promise. It's just better, and they learn to work as a team and love each other as a family, and not just think that mom and dad are there and I'm the center and everything revolves around me, because that's just not real life. Number 6 is that you don't have to lose yourself. There's this whole mentality about motherhood and how it's so like self-sacrificing, and it's almost like a martyr mentality in some cases, which I personally cannot stand, because that is not what we are called to be. We're called to be good examples. We're called to be healthy. We're called to be the best kind of mom that we can be. And the best kind of mom that you can be does not mean losing yourself in motherhood. And I want to be very clear. I do think that you are going to have to put aside some of your desires and your wants in order to love your children in the way they should be loved, but not at the expense of your mental and physical health. It's so important that you are taking care of yourself, because your kids will watch that and they'll see that. And I just know from personal experience, when I haven't taken care of myself, the impact that it has on my family. I think that I'm being helpful by just like neglecting myself in order to take care of them, but in reality, it harms them. Maybe not in the immediate time, but certainly in the future it has. So please take care of yourself. Sleep when you can sleep. Put the baby down for 5 minutes so you can take a shower. They will be okay. Eat decent food. Don't just snack all day long. Make sure you're eating well and drinking lots of water. You're basically a houseplant. Don't let yourself die. And the last thing I want to say, and this always makes me a little bit mushy, but it is really true, and that is that you will have enough love for your child, for both of your children. You just do. When you have a second child, you don't split up the love that you have in your heart. It multiplies. It just grows and it grows, and you think, this is incredible. And I will say that for every child I've had, that's just happened again. And it's one of the most amazing things to me. And I personally see it as something from God that He gives to us. And it's not something that can be explained. And you don't have a favorite child. You love every single child in a different way because they're different people. And it's just really, really special. I just want to assure you of that, especially if you're in that moment right now where your second baby's coming any day and you're thinking, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? I can't do this. Like, you're panicking inside. I remember feeling that way. You can do this. You will do this. And you'll be really good at it. You might not feel like that a lot of the time, but trust me, you will be, and it'll be one of the best things ever. So it's not to say it won't be without challenges and hardships, but you know, it's a refining process. That's what I say about motherhood all the time. It's a refining fire. It pushes us to our extremes and our limits, but if we let it, we'll come out on the other side even better versions of ourselves. And that's what I want for my children. I want to give them a better version of who I am every single day. I want to be working on that. So I hope this has been encouraging to you as an expecting mama, or maybe you've got 2 kids and you can relate to some of the things I have said. Please leave a comment down below with how many children you have. It's always interesting to me to see who's watching my videos, and I love to connect with you. So please, please, please leave a comment, like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you are new and you want to see more from me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.